because here's what's going to happen. If Trump doesn't get his shit together here, if we don't start figuring stuff out quickly and stacking up wins before the midterms, the bigger the better, by the way. If we don't start getting wins, someone like an AOC, who I told you on the show last week, is probably going to be the nominee. Make no mistake, AOC is the end game for the Democrats, for their policies. Someone like that. They didn't think they'd get her until 2050, but if Trump doesn't seize the moment here, 2028 is going to be looking like the time for them to strike while the iron's hot. So if Trump fails, he will lead us to President AOC. Democrats did the same thing in 2008 with Barack Obama. Everyone was thinking it was going to be Hillary or John Edwards or some, generic Democrat like that. But the country was in such shambles at the time. They're like, we've got this race in the bag. We could run Joe Stalin as the Democrat nominee and win. Let's try something so dramatic, so unorthodox, so out of the bag that it'll work. So they ran a black guy. No, I mean, Obama was like somewhat radical for the time period. Not anymore. He became an establishment hack. But back then, he was Mr. Progressive. They're going to do that with AOC. They're going to see an opportunity to put through this blatant communist agenda under somebody like an AOC if Donald Trump's second term goes up totally in smoke. That'll lead. I mean, Donald Trump could very well lead to communism in America. Not in the traditional sense that he's going to be the one enacting the laws, but if he doesn't figure this out, that's what's coming down the pipeline. I can already see 3 years ahead. That's who they'll run. They'll see a golden opportunity to usher in their end game about 25 years early. I don't want to live under President AOC. What was Justin telling us on Saturday when he was over at our house? He was telling us that AOC represents the bartender class. And it's obviously not just bartenders that he's talking about, but there's a specific type of woman that AOC represents, or a specific type of person, I guess you could say, that AOC represents. They're not very educated. They don't think that, when I say, I should say intelligent, right? Because I'm not very educated either, and I'm smarter than a lot of educated people. But they're not very intelligent. They jump to takes very, very quickly and emotionally without thinking them through or thinking and this is not just political takes. This is life decisions as well. Without thinking, how is this going to affect me 5 steps down the road? AOC represents a very significant percentage of the population that is impulsive, that is entitled, and is angry. And if she can find a way to motivate that base, even if it's like 15% of the voter base, 15 to 20%, if the country's in shambles and all this crap's going on and it feels like the world's on fire and Trump's totally lost the plot, she's going to be able to convince enough independents, or you'll just have enough independents that voted Republican and would never vote for her but are uninspired and stay home. And that's where we run into trouble. So I don't want to live in a communist authoritarian state run by the bartender class. That's what they are. They're the bartender class. They're not necessarily richer or poorer than the rest of us. They're just dumber than the rest of us. And when I say, I'm not talking about all bartenders either when I say that. There are people that work in bars that are intelligent individuals, but you guys know who I'm talking about because she used to be a bartender. You guys know who I'm talking about when I mention the bartender class, because you've all got multiple of them in your lives. You see their trashy Facebook posts, their memes that they share when like their mom and their grandma and their dad are on there. And it's like, why would you ever want these people in your life to see this side of you? The ridiculous photos that have no business being anywhere other than OnlyFans, yet you give them out for free on Facebook. If they dare to open their mouth on a political take, it's just some generic talking point that's some of the dumbest shit that you've ever read. You could easily pick it apart with a 5th grade education. I mean, These are the lowest common denominators of a functioning society that AOC represents. And there's a very good chance that if Donald Trump doesn't figure this shit out, they're going to be calling the shots. When I say the lowest common denominator of a functioning society, obviously there's the people that, belong in mental institutions and, violent criminals. They're obviously lower than them. But of a functioning, working members of society, these are the lowest common denominators. Guys, and I hate to break it to you, a lot of them are crystal girls. I would be willing to bet 75% of them, of the women that fall into the bartender class, are crystal girls. The crystal girls are down right now, but they're not out. They will come roaring back. We cannot let the crystal girls seize control of the country. Mia, should we shake right now? I will bet you $1,000 right now on air that AOC is into crystals. $1,000.
I'm sure she is. She
seems
like it.
What's that?
I said she seems like it. Or she pretends to be, so that way people will like her more.
So the bartender class is into her?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet she's got like one of those tapestry things up on her wall in the bedroom. And she does tarot before she votes on a bill. She like consults her psychic and stuff like that. Guarantee you she's into all that crap. We can't let those people control the country. It'll be the end of humanity as we know it. Forget the AI, forget nuclear war, forget the terrorists, forget the illegals. The crystal girls will burn this country to the ground. We cannot give the bartender class the keys to the car because 90% of them are too drunk to fucking drive more often than not. They can't have the keys to the country. Most of these people, you wouldn't even trust to walk your dog. We can't allow them to run the country. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you can actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.